And we're live.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on To The Point with
Skip
and the King. You guys know where to find Simon Broder, running the point on simonbroder.com, amazon.ca. You guys can find him on Dougie J's. You guys can find myself, King Hussein, on all social media platforms. You guys can find Skip and I collectively on To The Point on Facebook, To The Point on Instagram, To The Point Raps on Twitters, and To The Point Podcast, which is where y'all better be watching us right now. If not, you're bootlegging. And if you aren't, give us a subscribe, give us a like, let us know what you think. Right now, standing in this corner, weighing in with the hot takes, hailing from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the mouth of the North, the one and only Andrew Reece. Andrew, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen out there where they can find you, my friend? And it's a pleasure to have you back on the show. Might I say that?
Thank you very much, Brian. You can find me on the Reece Report on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube on the Reece Report. You can also find me at Instagram at Ram316 or at Twitter at Andrew316Reece or Mouth of the North. And
you are a great friend
I'm
of the
happy
show.
to be here.
Thank you very much. You are a great friend of the show. Skip, we also have somebody else out there that would like to say something online there. Can we post that?
Oh, see, man, Mark Strong, Strizzzy from 2019 NBA champion Toronto Raptors, and of course, community ambassador for Penny Appeal Canada. It's just a quick shout out to my man King and Skip, To The Point. Always got the great analysis on the Raptors and basketball and, all things hoops and whatnot. So shouts out to The Point. I see you doing great work as well, too. And I really want to make a shout out for their generous contribution to Penny Appeal Canada initiatives and whatnot and programs. And we really appreciate what you've done for me as well, too, within Penny Appeal. So shouts out to The Point. Make sure you check them out, To The Point Raps on Twitter and on their YouTube, all of that stuff. And big up yourself still. And we appreciate it. Small change makes a big difference no matter what it is. So large up to you guys, man. Continue to help and support the communities both here and internationally. Respect and salute my man King. Skip, I see you. To The Point. Strizzy.
Okay, guys. In case you didn't know, in case you've been living under a rock, that is the one and only Mark Strong, a.k.a. Strizzzy, the voice of your Toronto Raptors. By the way, the community ambassador for the organization Penny Appeal. We hope you guys get out there, be charitable, contribute. They take care of the community, especially in dying and trying times like this. A lot of people need help, and that's what they're there for, internationally, community-wise. So if you guys want to help out the city of Toronto or help out wherever you're watching us right now, make sure you guys go check that out, pennyappeal.ca. Now, back to business. So, I've been online, and I see you guys out there on Facebook commenting on the post that Skip and I put up. I see you guys, and I heard a little chatter, a little buzz, and a little birdie in my ear, who might be on the screen right now, agrees with this. I've heard this. Now, even though he is not there quite yet, Andrew, I have to ask you, can OG Anunoby be the next Kawhi Leonard?
Okay, I've been on this train for a while now, from
Choo-choo.
the day that Kawhi left the Raptors. I said the way this team goes forward is if he develops and becomes the next Kawhi. Because as you know, the Raptors are not going to get free agents, and they're not going to get any superstars unless they trade for them or draft them. So it has to come from within. This man is the same height, around the same weight. He was drafted around the same time, 20th overall, give or take, and comes from a very, background you wouldn't expect from England. He has the body type. He has the three-point shooting. He has the defense. He has it all. The only question is, will Nick Nurse let him become Kawhi? When Kawhi was here in Toronto, he had a complete green light. Siakam was the clear second option. Van Vliet and Lowry filled within, and they won the championship. For the Raptors to go forward and be better, OG is going to have to become Kawhi. It's not even a question anymore. They're going to have to let him become Kawhi because he's more than capable.
Wow. That's all you got to say? Skip, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think there are definitely comparisons, but I mean, to say that anyone is going to be the next Kawhi is kind of like saying someone's going to be the next LeBron. Like, Kawhi is a next level type of player. Like, you can't just take a young player and say he's going to be the next Kawhi any more than you can say he's going to be the next KD or he's going to be the next LeBron. You're definitely right about the build. I looked it up. They have almost the exact same build. They're both 6'7". They're both 225 pounds, give or take a couple. I mean, all those measurements change over time, obviously. They're very much the same build. You look at OG's defense and you see shades of Kawhi with the runouts, the steals, just the way that he is on the court. There's a lot of Kawhi in his stance and how he operates. But I went back and I looked at how they progressed in their careers, because both of them came into the league at age 20. Obviously, OG is about 8 years younger than Kawhi, something like that. But I went back and I kind of looked at their stats, and if you kind of look at it, they have a bit of a similar progression. So Kawhi, age 20, 7.9 points a game. Then he went up to 11.9, 12.8, and 16.5 over the 4 years from age 20 to 23. And then it was his age 24 season when he became an all-star. So if you look at it, OG is now in that age 23 season, and his numbers were 5.9 points per game, age 20, 7 points per game, age 21, 10.6, age 22, and 15.9, age 23. So he kind of started not scoring as much as Kawhi, but if you look at their numbers side by side at age 23, they're really close. He's kind of catching up. I think where you see the big difference is in the rebounding. So his first year, Kawhi was already rebounding, getting 5 rebounds a game, and he ended up going up to 7 in his age 23 season, whereas OG started at 2.5 rebounds a game and went up to 5.5. So again, we see this progression where OG is behind Kawhi, but every year he's kind of catching up to him, and he's becoming the same type of force as a player. Now, to get to that next level, it's going to be really difficult. He's going to have to perfect that mid-range. He's going to have to get a little less robotic in the post. He's going to have to really get in there on rebound. He's going to have to do all that without losing as much on defense, because if he starts to try and take over games on offense, he might lose a step on defense. We've seen that happen with Pascal, for example. But I absolutely think he has the build to be a Kawhi light, a mini Kawhi, a sort of, maybe not that first option, that franchise player. Well, he could be a franchise player, just maybe not that Hall of Famer. But yeah.
What do you think, Reece?
Here's what I think. When Kawhi Leonard was first in the league, he was the 4th or 3rd option. And
what do you think about what Skip had to say?
No, this is what I'm going to say. Greg Popovich knew what he had and allowed Kawhi to become what he became. The question is, does Nick Nurse know what he has, and will he let Kawhi, who was surrounded by 3 other Hall of Famers, become the number 1 man, despite the fact that there's 3 other guys there that are Hall of Famers or that can score better or what have you? Will they let him become the man? That's the question. I don't think there's any question he can become Kawhi.
I think they're already trying to feature him way more. We've seen in the past week or two, he's been taking a lot more shots. He's been taking control of the offense. And it's been mixed results a little bit. Like, he's done a lot of really good stuff. But, I mean, he's been
pretty reliable.
He's been reliable. But
in April, he's averaging over 20 a game. So, I mean.
Yeah, but, I mean, we have seen some of those roadblocks where he's getting a little robotic. He's maybe not got that mid-range game down. Like,
he's not a finished product yet.
Yeah. What do you think, Brian?
Skip. Okay. First of all, can I say, we are comparing OG to Kawhi, and you're saying he's being too robotic? Kawhi's a Terminator.
Good point. It's a good point.
I'll give you that one. Good
point.
Seriously. But you know what? I think OG's ceiling is through the stratosphere. The last couple games I've been watching all through the last month. I'm very well invested watching these games now. I'm very much studying them, and I'm seeing that he's, like I said earlier, he's the only reliable part that I'm really seeing. Like, some guys are inconsistent here and there. He might drop off a little bit, but that's very rare. He's been very very consistent. He played 43 games this season. He started 43. Okay, so I got to give him credit on that one. You know, he's been there. He's been the workhorse. He's been taking care of a lot of little things. And I think to answer that question for you guys, I don't think he's going to be the next Kawhi Leonard. Depends on how you define Kawhi Leonard for what he did to Toronto, as in bringing the chip or being that guy. It could be one of the two. I think he will be a vital part in bringing the chip to Toronto in the future. I don't think that he can play like Kawhi. Their styles of play is very different. Their numbers might be similar, their size might be similar, but their styles of play within the different systems that they were groomed in, I don't think he'll be the next Kawhi. I think what OG Anunoby is going to be is the next OG Anunoby. That's my take on it. Okay?
Yeah,
now,
I want to say one thing. I think the only difference is the mid-range. I think a lot of their games are similar other than the mid-range.
I think he's actually a better 3-point shooter now than Kawhi was back then as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So, guys, our next topic that I'm sure none of you guys are talking about, and I cannot wait for the insight onto this question that I need to ask you, Skip. Can the Raptors, at the end of the season, can they hold on to the new guys, especially Khem Birch and Gary Trent Jr.?
I think they absolutely want to. I think both guys have really showed out in their time in Toronto. Especially, honestly, Gary Trent was amazing when he first came over, but since he's been stapled to the bench and Khem Birch has come on board, he's just been eye-opening. Last night in Utah, he almost had a triple-double. He had 6 assists as well as I think a double-double, 17 and 10 or something. Yep. Just a much better player than I ever thought he was. He's an amazing cutter. He's a good defender. He's a good passer. He's just a really well-rounded player. I was expecting that we just get a guy in here who could rebound a little bit. Like, I wasn't expecting much from him at all. I thought, yeah, he's going to rebound. He might get the odd, like, running dunk from Lowry or something. But it's been way more than that. He's really shown out. He's really shown that he's an NBA player. And he was making only like $500K with the Raptors, but he was making $2.5 million with the Magic. And I think definitely after his showing with the Raptors, he's going to see a raise in the offseason. There's no doubt about that. The real question is it going to be with the Raptors? And I think they're very much going to offer him a contract. The only thing I'd be worried about is if another team maybe swoops in and throws the Bismack Biyombo deal at him, like, oh, this guy look really good in like 2 weeks, we're going to give him $18 million a year or something. But I think for my money, I think the Raptors give him the Aaron Baines contract that they gave Aaron Baines this offseason, which was, I think, $7 million a year for 2 years with the second year non-guaranteed. I would very much be on board with them offering him something like that. I think he'd be open to taking it. It just depends if there's going to be better offers. Now, as for Trent, now we're talking a little bit of a more complicated situation because he's a restricted free agent. He turned down a $53 million contract over 4 years from Portland, which is one of the main reasons that he was traded to the Raptors in the first place. I don't know if that was an official contract that was on the table or if that was just what he was eligible to be offered. But anyway, he did not sign that offer. So by my math, that's about $13 million a season. So you got to think if the Raptors want to bring him back, they got to go over that number, whether that's $15 million a season. It depends on if someone comes in as a restricted free agent. Anyone can throw an offer sheet at him. If someone gives him $20 million a year, are the Raptors going to match that? And I think they have to have a cutoff point because he does seem to be a bit of a limited player. He seems like he's a really good scorer, a really good three-point shooter. I'm not sure that he's that versatile all-around player that you want to necessarily invest a ton of money in. But at the same time, he's only 22 and he's scoring 15 points a game right now. So I definitely think he's going to make some nice money in the offseason. It's really just a question of whether someone throws an offer sheet at him that the Raptors can't match. So we'll see.
Andrew, what do you think about that?
Birch,
What do you think about Trent and Birch staying?
Well, here's I think Simon is suffering from the Aaron Baines complex, because just about anybody at center would look better than Aaron Baines. So he's probably blown away by Birch because of that. But I got to admit,
that's fair.
I mean, it doesn't matter who you put there. But Birch has impressed. What surprised me about Birch is his 3-point shooting. That I wasn't expecting. I think he's a guarantee to stay here. He's Canadian. I don't think anybody's going to have as high an opinion on him as we are. He's already stated he wants to stay in Toronto. My guess is he gets the Boucher deal, which is the prove it deal, and then he gets paid after that.
Which is basically the same thing I said. Like,
yeah, so
6 or 7 million a year.
I don't think anyone's going to come over the top and pay this guy a bushload of money for 2 weeks of good basketball. So he's going to be here, and Baines is going to be out the door faster than I don't know, just about any Raptor that we hated.
Faster than Tanner.
Right. So with Gary Trent, this is going to be like very difficult, because I did not know he turned down $13 million a season from Portland, although that's to be expected because a lot of players turn down extensions before their contract's up because they can get paid more if they play better. Trent had a buzzer beater. He had a 44-point game. If we traded Norman Powell because we wouldn't pay him $20 million, we're not going to pay Gary Trent $20 million. So if he's not going to take a deal that is a prove-it deal at age 22, I wouldn't bring him back. I'll be honest with you. The Raptors are a team that need to build, and paying him $20 million is not the right way to build, especially when you have all this cap space and the possibility of bringing in a better player. I wouldn't pay him $20 million a season. So I think they got to be really careful with his extension. You just gave OG $17 million a year. You're not paying him more than $17 million a year to be a bench player. So they have to be very careful with this contract. Do I think he'll stay? Yes, but it has to be at the right number.
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that is he's a restricted free agent, so it isn't really in the Raptors' hands. It has to do with what another team offers him. And if another team hands him an offer sheet, the Raptors basically have to look at it and say, are we going to keep him or not? And I think they're really motivated to keep him. I agree that 20 million is too high. I think there will be a number where they're going to have to walk away. But if it's like a question of like, do we give him 13 million? Do we give him 14 million? I think they're invested in keeping him around for the most part. But you just have to have that walk away number, whatever it is. And he's a nice piece. I'm not sure that he's a core piece, but he's really young, and they're trying to build a young team. Everyone else in the team is under 28. So that's aside from Lowry, obviously. Yeah. So it's really in their interest to keep him around, but it's in other teams' interest to try and make it really hard for them.
I will say this. If the Raptors lose Lowry, he probably re-signs anyway because they have the money. So
that's a topic for another day. I think that's what they might be saving up for. So
well, then it gets really complicated with the bird rights and the cap is really complicated. So we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, we need a lawyer to go through these contracts.
Yes.
So guys, personally, what I think is that they'll be back. They'll be back next season. Someone watching it.
If I had to put money on it, they'll be back. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah. But Gary Trent, his father played for the Raptors. He's honoring it. Look at that Blue Jays jersey. That was so crazy. The baby blue with the old school. Oh my goodness. I was loving it. Khem Birch playing for Toronto, putting his all in, growing up, loving the team. It's his favorite team. He finally gets to play for it. Think about it. You, the two of you, and anybody out there, if you were a professional in any sport and you had the opportunity to go play for your favorite team, you would obviously take the chance. And you probably wouldn't care. It wouldn't be a money issue right there. So honestly, what I think is they will re-sign. They will be back next year. Hopefully, if the games are here in Toronto, which we're all got our fingers crossed for. I honestly think they'll be doing great because look at the games they've played and look how many starts they've gotten out of it. You know, look at their tenacity. Look at them working hard. Look at the game winner by Trent. Look at Birch last night. Look at Birch getting his career high, you know, like eclipsing the amount of points that he put up in Orlando. I definitely think and like he said, his quote was, he feels a little more freedom here and he enjoys it and he loves it. And that's what I honestly think that he's going to, it's more mental than just monetary. And that's what I think they'll be here for. However, if another team does try to sign them, the Raps do got to match it. You could lose Trent. Yeah, it's a possibility. But then again, like you guys were talking about Trent on Portland, I think he gave up that contract because he realized he would go nowhere. He wouldn't have that much playing time. He wouldn't be able to be who he is with CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard pretty much taking up all the time on possession, right? And he would not be featured. He would not be like part of the core. He would be like in the background. So that's where I stand on that one, guys.
Yeah.
What do you, ladies and gentlemen, out there think?
Yeah. Sorry, just
What
a
do you
little
guys think?
last second. If you watched our bench the last couple of months, a couple of weeks, they need him.
They need him, and they
need Boucher. They need Boucher.
Yes.
You guys can weigh in on that topic. We will cover that for you soon. More importantly, what we got to say is what you guys got to say. You guys make sure you go out there, check out Andrew Reece on the Reece Report. We will leave the link for his Facebook and his YouTube. Make sure you guys go check out Simon right there, simonbroder.com, amazon.ca. Make sure you go get the book at Dougie J's on Twitter. It's baseball season. It's his favorite time of the year. You guys know where to find me, King Hussein. You guys know where to find us, To The Point, Facebook, Instagram, To The Point Raps on Twitter, To The Point Podcast on YouTube. We appreciate your support. Make sure you guys go, do what you can do, and contribute to pennyappeal.ca. Help out those that are in need. Take care of them. Make sure they're okay, because we all got to live together. We're one big community. We're one big world. We all got to look out for each other and the racism and all that. Let's take care of each other. Let's have nothing but love, which is what we have for you guys out there that are watching us. We appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Make sure you guys go check it out on Tuesday when I'm on Reece's show covering. Oh yeah, Macho Man! But you guys, I just got to say, it's a pleasure having you back on, Reece. Thank you very much. Skip, I love seeing your beautiful face. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and
peace.